Welcome everyone to Side Draft, and welcome to something that is a bit different. We're going to look at a throwback race review since NASCAR's on hiatus, and we have nothing to do but watch old races. We decided to watch an old race.
Yeah, so we kind of reached out to some of our fans and trying to get some ideas of what they'd like to see right now, and they would say they'd like to see a throwback race.
Yeah, so shout out to Brad Anderson for giving us the idea to look at North Wilkesboro, the 1996 Holly Farms 400, I believe.
Yeah, we really appreciate Brad. He's always commenting to us and liking everything we put out, and we say we appreciate you. And he's actually, I believe, from Wilkes County, which actually lives in Canada now. So this is kind of throwing it to him a little bit.
Yeah, so some pre-race stuff. This was, of course, the final race in North Wilkesboro for the Winston Cup Series. Anyway, I believe they went back there in the trucks a couple of years later. But Jeff Gordon was leading the points over Terry Labonte and Dale Jarrett at the time, and Jeff Gordon was starting the race on the pole. And then Ward Burton, Dick Trickle, and Gary Bradbury, they all failed to qualify. Remember those names?
Yeah, that's back when, there's a lot more people enter a race. There's only, I believe, 43 can get in. There's some big names right there to really mention.
Yeah, and they all missed the race. So it's kind of crazy to think about. But, Jeff Gordon would lead lap 1 over Ted Musgrave. And then Bobby Hamilton in the 43 would charge to the lead.
Yeah, I always liked the racing here at Wilkesboro. It's a little short track, and just the passing here, it looks so much different from now. When you go back and look at these old races and see how the cars drove and how they looked, and it's just a lot of fun. Really exciting to go back and see this race.
Then we would see Ernie Irvin. He would just charge through the field. He would make his way up to second. He'd get around Jeff Gordon, and it's so cool to see these names again.
Yeah, it's so cool to see the 28 car out there, going around in the old Navy Allison kind of paint scheme. But it's just seeing these old cars is just really great.
Yeah, I just miss the sounds that these cars made.
Yeah,
from looking back at the old stuff and the old NASCAR games and those cars. It's just really, really cool to see those sounds. I know the new cars make cool sounds too, but the old Daytona cars in 2004 or so, miss those sounds.
Yeah, some great sounds, and it's so exciting just to talk about some of these names right now. It's like Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, and Darren Waltrip, and you just talk about this in a race review.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to go back and talk about these, and it's pretty exciting. I mean, it's pretty cool if we had something like this back then, but I know you couldn't have done it because you weren't here.
No race reviews in the womb.
That was like 2 years before you was born, so
yeah. So that'd be, so
I'd be doing it all by myself.
I'm just waiting for my son to get here.
I'm waiting for my son to get here so he can edit this video. So.
Alright, so there'd be a caution for debris 20 laps in, and that would be when Bobby Hamilton was leading. And so Gordon would lose a lot of spots on the next restart. Seemed like he didn't really have a good short run car at least the first part of the race.
Yeah, seemed like he had some handling issues beginning on. But you had a lot of passing and coming and going, and like Martin, he just kind of if somebody's faster than him, he just let him go. You really see a lot of that blocking a whole lot then.
Yeah, now you have the stage points, and so you need every spot that you can get. And so, now it's like, okay, you're faster than me, but I need these points.
Yeah.
And so, then this was an endurance race. You don't have to be faster than them now. You still got 400 laps to go. So,
it's so funny from going from now. You got the stage racing, and you go back to the end, and they just keep going and going and going until a caution or something. So. And plus the restarts is even wilder then. They got the single file restarts, and now they got the double file. So it's pretty cool to see the difference from now and then.
Then Joe Nemechek, he would have to go to pit road after the next restart. He had a little bit of a tire rub, I believe, from Bodine. So,
yeah.
tire rubs happen even then.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the car is a little more durable then, maybe. They still get damaged, but it ain't as crucial all the cars are today, where it really depends on more the air.
Yeah, then we had mechanical grip, and now we have the aero grip, which is tons of fun.
Yeah.
But then Irvin would catch Hamilton, and he would pass him. But the next thing that would happen, Kyle Petty would get loose or something, slam into, guess who? The leaders.
It's not good.
I mean,
good.
That's like old school NASCAR there, the leaders wrecking.
Yeah, I believe Kyle Petty had a tire going down or something, and he spun it around and got in the leaders. I mean, it's just one of them things. And back then, you really, I mean, Wilkesboro, everybody's way anyway, so at least a little thing happens.
Then insult to injury, Ernie Irvin was held on pit road. He lost a lap because he didn't wait for the pace car, that's for one, and also too many men over the wall. So we had that rule then.
Yeah, and Larry McReynolds was the crew chief. I mean, he's out there hollering at him, man. He's like, you don't see him in the booth, It's like he's out there hollering at him.
Yeah, we got so used to him in the booth.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
It's pretty cool going back to these races and to see this. It's pretty awesome.
So then we'd see Mark Martin get the lead. I didn't think we'd ever say that in a race review.
Mark Martin takes the lead.
Mark Martin would take the lead. It's crazy, but Ernie Irvin would lose another lap. Just the damage was too bad, and so he had a fast car. I believe he would have won the race.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, you're a leader. You got a fast car, and then you get in somebody else's failure or something, and then here you are, 2 laps down, and you're pretty much out of the race.
Then we'd see the 77 and the 33 of Hillen and Presley. They would make contact with no caution, and I thought this was crazy because I believe it was the 77. He was almost completely around, but saves it, and no caution.
That's kind of crazy. So
nowadays, that would have definitely been a caution.
Definitely been a caution. Somebody goes around. Oh, we're going to throw the caution. So
it's just so cool to see how the times have changed, and what we've gotten used to over the course of the.
Yeah, sometimes we forget, where the races come from or where we are today. And check out the guys on pit road. No helmets,
Yeah.
And you got the official. He's walking out there pretty chill and everything. He's like, you don't see that nowadays. All the safety all the safety features and the NASCARs is permitted. And it's pretty crazy. I mean, back then we thought it was pretty normal. Them with no helmets and all, but nowadays you got to have the helmets and all.
And then we would see a great battle between Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, and Rusty Wallace. Classic NASCAR right there.
Yeah.
So they would battle for the lead for a long time.
Yeah.
And it seems like Gordon might get a better run, and he'll get to the lead, and you think, oh, he's just going to pull away. And no, Rusty Wallace would come back, and then Mark Martin would come back. So
yeah,
that was
had a couple of bump and runs there too. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool to see.
And then let's see.
And Rusty Wallace, that's one of the coolest cars of his I like.
Yeah, if I could find that in diecast, I'd definitely get it. I really didn't remember this paint scheme, but I don't think I've ever seen it before. Besides watching this race, I want to get that diecast if they ever made it.
Yeah.
And then it would be under 300 to go. Yes, we're this far in the video.
This far in the race. I mean, it seems like a lot more happens back then. There's a lot of racing, a lot of passing and tough racing. I mean, it's so great to see these old races.
Let's see. Then Rick Mast, I believe he was driving the 1. He would catch Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace, and he was actually really competitive.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these cars, I about forgot about some of these names and the cars that they drove, and
yeah,
it's you kind of lose track of time.
And then Jeff Gordon would be in the lead. He would pass Rusty Wallace, and Rusty Wallace would get loose and make contact with Rick Mast, but that's mostly okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're just trying to go for the same spot, down in the corner or whatever, but luckily they didn't spin around.
Then we'd see green flag pit stops. Rusty Wallace was the first one to come down pit road as for the leaders, and he would get the lead back that way. And he lost like a couple positions during that green flag run after that contact. Still pretty competitive, but he would jump into the lead, and it's crazy how the pit strategy worked then, especially in a short track.
Yeah, like they, right here on pit road, like sometimes they can speed a little bit going off. You probably couldn't do that nowadays.
I see. Then it would be a great battle between Jeff Gordon and Rusty Wallace again. Gordon would eventually get around Rusty, and then would have Jeff Gordon. He would be leading halfway, so he would get $10,000.
Good. I mean, nowadays you get the points. Back then you got money. So, I think I'd rather take the money and
I think drivers now is like, we already got money.
We got money.
Give us the points. So then Jeff Gordon would almost make contact with the 71 of Dave Marcus because Morgan Shepherd dived it down into the corner. I don't know how that wasn't a wreck. Definitely nowadays that would have been a wreck.
Yeah, I don't know.
So then, we hadn't talked about this name all video long, but Dale Earnhardt.
He would pass Senior.
He would pass Jeff Gordon on the outside, and so now we've talked about all the
greats.
All the greats right now, at least the greats in the 90s. So
yeah, it's pretty cool to mention these names in a race review. I mean, it's pretty awesome. A lot of the big Hall of Famers, pretty much. So.
And then green flag pit stops. Jeff Gordon would pass Dale Earnhardt, but Jeff Burton would have a great pit stop somehow. I don't know where he was before all this, but he would maintain the lead after staying out for so long.
Yeah, he had a really fast car to come to the field anyway, and he showed his strength there, so it's good.
And then with about 151 to go, Jeff Gordon would pass Jeff Burton for what would be the lead, but Ricky Rudd would stay out at this moment. And so Gordon would eventually catch Rudd and pass him, and then would have a caution for oil on the track.
Oil on the track.
So not a whole lot of cautions for wrecks necessarily. It was mostly debris and oil and all stuff like that. So after the pit stops, Jeff Gordon would beat Dale Earnhardt off pit road. Dale Jarrett in third. I don't think we really talked about him much.
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of names mentioned in this race. I mean,
there were so many comers and goers in this race. Normally in a race nowadays, you might have one or two that would, struggle at the beginning and then be good at the end. So we had a lot in this race.
Yeah, especially watching this race, it just makes you like, man, I wish to get Wilkesboro back up and running. Just to see some good racing going back there. I mean, it's just, man, I enjoyed watching this race. I mean, it brings back a lot of memories. I live close to there, but I never got to go to Wilkesboro. And I think we was talking about going one time, and then they closed it. So I'm like, man, I really wish they'd bring it back.
Yeah, at least just for one race. I know that'd be a lot of money for one race, but
just imagine how many fans would try to pack in there to try to get tickets just to go to Wilkesboro. That'd be pretty awesome.
Then on the restart, it would be Gordon leading, but Dale and Dale, they would make contact. It kind of reminds me of the Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, or Kyle and Kyle, Dale and Dale.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't slow Dale Earnhardt down because he would catch Jeff Gordon, and Dale Earnhardt had a rocket at this moment in the race.
Oh yeah, you can't ever count out the intimidator in these races, and especially short tracks, and he gets his car handled really good.
So, Dale Sr. would go to the lead, but Dale Jarrett would catch Dale and Jeff.
Dale and Jeff.
So we had Dale and Dale, and then Jeff and Jeff.
Yeah.
A lot of double names out there. But then Jeff Gordon would take the lead again over Dale Earnhardt with 91 to go. We saw everything in this race. We saw Jeff versus Rusty, and that became a thing in the late 90s, in Bristol and stuff like that. And then Jeff and Dale, they were rivals, so every one of Jeff's rivals was in this race.
Oh, yeah.
So then Dale Earnhardt would catch Gordon again and pass him. Normally we'd see, Gordon just take off.
Yeah, it seems like, nowadays you get in that clean air, you can pretty much take off and check out. but these old cars, they kind of race each other down and run them down and pass them. It's just, I miss these old cars sometimes.
And so Dale Jarrett would catch up to Jeff Gordon. He would try to pass him, but would fail to do so. And then Ricky Rudd, he benefited off of that caution for oil. So he would join in the back of them. And so they would have a caution for Robert Presley in the 33, I believe. And then Dale Earnhardt would take the lead on pit road. So it'd be Dale versus Jeff again. And then Jeff Gordon would pass Dale Earnhardt on the restart with about 80 to go. So this has been
a long race. I mean, you got to get to talk about stage points and stage ending and all that. And I mean, it's so crazy, what we got accustomed to now.
Yeah, and stage points and all that hadn't been around for too long, but
yeah.
It's crazy how it's become a normal in our minds. Like, when's the stage go? Oh wait, we don't have that.
Yeah, because you go back to these old races and you just watch the race and then just keep going and going and going. And so it's like an endurance. I mean, it really is an endurance race. You just got to survive to the end.
So Jeff Burton, he would catch Dale Earnhardt with 72 to go, would pass him, and then was thinking, well, now it's going to be Jeff Burton. At this moment, I don't believe he's had a win so far. So I think they said his best finish ever was third. Yeah. And so it was looking pretty good for him at this moment. And so he would catch Jeff Gordon pretty quickly, and Gordon would start to pull away with under 40 laps to go. I think Burton's tires were wearing off, but it was a great battle.
Yeah, it's really good. I like that car too, the X-Side car. I always like the little lightning bolts and stuff, so it's pretty cool.
And then Dale Earnhardt would come back in the picture and pass Burton for second. So it seems like Burton, I don't know if they made the wrong changes on that last pit stop, but I don't know what happened. He just kind of faded at that moment.
Yeah.
And then nothing else really happened, but Jeff Gordon would go on to win. I believe this was his 10th win of the season or something.
10th win of the season. That's a lot in one season. What was it, Harvick or one of them had like 8 wins?
Yeah, Harvick and Kyle Busch had 8 wins in 2018, and we thought that was pretty crazy.
That's pretty crazy. And here Jeff Gordon had 10.
That's pretty common in those days. Like a driver would go and win 10, sometimes even 14 or so. Jeff Gordon, I think he done it 2 or 3 times. So it was definitely a good time to be a Jeff Gordon fan. But the next couple stats here is probably not too good for a Gordon fan, or if Jeff Gordon's somehow watching, it's probably not fun to remember. But
you might want to hold your ears.
Yeah. So Gordon would have a bad race at Lowe's Motor Speedway, which is now Charlotte Motor Speedway. Not so great race at North Carolina Speedway, which they don't run that track anymore. And he would lose the championship to Terry Labonte, who only had 2 wins of the entire season. And let's see here. I think I had the points. Yeah, he lost it by 37 points.
Lost by 37 points. I mean, you dominate the year. You got 10 wins that season, and you lose it by 37 points. I mean, it's unheard of, and it's really tough for Gordon.
Yeah, it's kind of reminds me of like in 2018 we had the big 3, and then Joey Logano shows up and wins it anyway. So that's about like this. You think, oh, Jeff Gordon's got it locked in, just won North Wilkesboro, which is pretty close to the end of the season. He just needed to do well in these last 4 or 5 races, and
that's just the way racing goes. Sometimes you go on top, and all of a sudden you hit the bottom. So yes, now the stage points is and the wins kind of adds extra points to you. I know Gordon probably could have used them then.
Yeah.
But it's just real fun to go back, call it the Winston again.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then I wasn't I still watched racing, but I wasn't into it like I am now. Had other things going on, so I mean, I really like going back and seeing some of these old races and bring back some old times.
Yeah, so overall, what would you give this race out of 10?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably a 9 or 10. I just really enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I really enjoyed the race and the competition. You didn't have one person just dominate, even though Gordon led most of the laps at the very end. But you had a lot of names up there, and it seemed like it was a lot tougher to race back then. So I really liked this track, and I liked the way the race around it, and I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think during this time that we're not going to have any NASCAR other than iRacing, which I don't know when this video is coming out, but at the time of recording, we're going to have an iRacing race tomorrow, and so it seems like it's going to be past to present here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pretty crazy to look at because, then it was just racing. You couldn't go on, the computer and race iRacing or anything like that. Then, you had like some simulations, but it's not, that advanced. So
yeah, the technology got really great now. If this happened back in, even the 90s, like at Wilkesboro right here, if all this come about then, everybody just be without racing.
Yeah. So
now we got the NASCAR heat games we can watch, and we got the iRacing coming up, and it's really great for NASCAR to put these out there, just so fans can have some kind of racing and something for the drivers to do. Get on these simulators and drive, and it's just a whole new ball game.
Yeah, it was fun to look back at the old race to see how far NASCAR's come in terms of safety and the quality of racing. Even though I think this race is probably one of my favorites to even watch. But comment down below some of your favorite races that you'd like to see us review. As long as we haven't done a review on them already in terms of 2018, 2019, and then 2020. So it can be any race that we just haven't race reviewed.
Yeah, we'll go back and look at these old races and see where NASCAR, has come from and is now. It makes me kind of excited for this next generation car. See what it's going to be like. I mean, because NASCAR is moving forward all the time. Their safety and everything else from back then. It just reminded me of that, and so I can't wait to see what next year is going to be like with the new car.
I can't wait to watch more racing.
We just want more racing.
I don't care if I'm going to have to do a stop motion again.
I might just have to go out to my truck and just rev the motor up.
Nice sounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun to just watch a race again.
Yeah.
So really like to do more of these.
Yeah, I'd like to do more of these and talk about some big names. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple of mine that we should look back on, but it was really.
Yeah, we're glad that Brad Anderson mentioned this race to us, so we can go back and watch the very last Wilkesboro race. And I like talking about Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good track, and I wish NASCAR wouldn't have let it just deteriorate and could have brought it back.
Yeah, I wish they'd at least maintained it to where they could at least come back if they wanted to.
Put some sprint cars or something in there,
Yeah.
Just like to keep Hickory Motor Speedway open, have some races there or something. I mean, there's a lot of race fans up there that just wants to see some racing. We rode by the track several times, and it's like, man, I wish I could go in there again.
So with that, I believe that's all we have. So if you want to see more of these, let us know some races down below that you want us to review. And remember, as long as it's about 2017 and below, we prefer the 90s to early 2000s because those are the funnest to watch again. But just let us know what are some races that you want to see us do. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more. We'll see you on our next episode.